Welcome, everyone. Good morning to those who are gathered here in the sanctuary on Rugby Road and to all who are joining online today. As we come together for worship, we begin with a musical prelude. Thank you, Scott. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Charlottesville. My name is Tori Goodlow, a member of the congregation and this morning's worship weaver. I'm happy to be weaving worship this morning with Reverend Leah Derlin-Jones, our congregation's Minister of Faith Development, and Scott DeVoe, Director of Music, and all of you. Our building sanctuary was built over 70 years ago on homeland of the Monacan people that was once cared for by enslaved people from Africa and their descendants. We honor all who have dwelt here and all in our congregations whose lives have led to this moment of our gathering. I invite us now to take a moment to greet others who are with us in worship. Those online may unmute and say hello, and those here in the sanctuary or social hall are welcome to greet your neighbors, especially those you may not know.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Good
Hi,
morning.
good morning.
Wow,
Hello,
it's good to
everybody.
see so many people on Zoom. It's been a while since I've done Zoom.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Reverend Leah, she's on too.
We offer a special welcome to newcomers and invite you to join us for fellowship after the service in the social hall. Feel free to use one of our red coffee mugs, which are especially for newcomers to our congregation. Seating is also available in the social hall where there is a live stream of the service. Everyone is welcome in the sanctuary, but if you need a roomier space, the social hall can be a good option. Summer Sunday fun activities for our children are happening in the lower hall right now. Today's fun includes building with Legos and rainbow loom weaving. All are welcome. If there are any children in the sanctuary who would like to go and participate, parents are encouraged to sign them in and then rejoin us in the worship. Many thanks to all the folks helping us share worship both here and online, our greeters, ushers, and hospitality and logistics team, and special thanks to our AV tech, Rachel Buckland, supporting the dual platform worship both online and here on Rugby Road. And now we have greetings from John Griffith, a member of our congregation's board.
Thank you. So I'm John Griffith. I'm a fairly new member of the Board of Trustees, and it's my honor this morning to bring greetings from the board. And I want to say one thing I really love about this congregation is religious education. If you have kids, get them involved. If you're an adult and you like working with kids, get involved. Our family loves it. I know I personally have learned a lot, and so has my daughter. And I'm looking forward to the fall and more opportunities. I will be in the social hall after this, so if you're here in person and you want to learn more or talk to me, you can meet me there. If you're online, then you can contact the office and they can put us in touch. And I'd love to connect with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Here are our announcements this morning. Donations are being gratefully received now for our congregation's yard and bake sale on Saturday, August 19th from 8 a.m. to noon. Donations may be left on the Summit House porch. Please, no books, clothing, or linens. Alan Kindler has started his art show, and he is here today. Alan, could you please stand? If you'd like to talk to Alan more about his art after the service, he will be in the social hall. Saturday, August 26th from 4 to 7 p.m. is our congregation's end of summer splash, a swimming party for all at Fairview Pool in Charlottesville. All ages are welcome. Come even if you don't want to swim. Details are in the Friday email and on the congregation's webpage. If you're new to our congregation, we have a newcomer circle next Sunday at 12:15 after the service. And finally, please join us for coffee and conversation in the social hall this morning after service.
Our call to worship this morning comes from the Reverend Andrew Pakalaw. Come into this circle of community. Come into this sacred space. Be not tentative. Bring your whole self. Bring the joy that makes your heart sing. Bring your kindness and your compassion. Bring also your sorrow, your pain. Bring your brokenness and your disappointments. Spirit of love and mystery, help us to recognize the spark of the divine that resides within each of us. May we know the joy of wholeness. May we know the joy of being together. Come, let us worship with one another.
As Kieran Little and Chris Little light the flame of our chalice this morning, please join me in saying our unison chalice lighting words. We gather this hour as people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is a church of the open minds. This is the church of the helping hands. This is a church of the loving hearts. Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing hymn number 100, I've Got Peace Like a River. The words will be projected.
Our centering time begins with words from Wendell Berry, The Peace of Wild Things. When despair for the world grows in me and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in the beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world, and I am free. Please join me now in the spirit of prayer and meditation. Spirit of life, Spirit of love, we are grateful for this time today to gather with one another in community and to pause in appreciation for the gifts of this life. Where there is pain, may there be release. Where there is joy, may there be ease. May we always feel and know deep in our bones that we are held by the larger love that holds us all and never lets us go. May this bring us peace. Amen, and blessed be. We are an interconnected community that cares for one another, and part of how we embody this care is by making time to share the joys and the sorrows that we hold in our hearts. I will now share what was submitted before worship this morning. I'm going to light a candle now for all the joys and the sorrows that remain in our hearts, as well as the ones that were shared today.
This community offers its love and support to what is closest to our hearts. Another way we show our care for one another is in sharing our financial gifts with our community and our congregation. Our social action collection for the month of August is for the food ministry of the New Beginnings Christian community. I invite Reverend Dr. Greg Moyer and Deacon Hazy from New Beginnings to come forward and share with us a little about this important ministry.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Reverend Greg, and this is Deacon Hazy at New Beginnings Christian Community. She's one of my lead volunteers at the food ministry, and we do not use the word pantry. We use the word ministry, which is very, very important. And a special thanks to Greta and Elizabeth. Greta has started volunteering for us the fourth Friday of every month, greeting all of the guests who come for food, so special thanks to them. Our food ministry has been in continuous operation for the past 20 years, but it really became the epicenter during the pandemic when many food pantries in the area closed down. We actually kept going and expanded to 4 days a week because during the pandemic, more than ever, people needed food. In fact, during the pandemic, we expanded exponentially and to this day have feeding about 300 to 400 people every single week. Our food ministry has been founded since the church began, and our ministry at the church is for more non-traditional parishioners, such as ex-offenders, sex offenders, alcoholics, people who are struggling in life, many people who don't feel welcome in other churches. As I said before, we feed 300 to 400 people every week, and we have volunteers not just from New Beginnings Christian Community, but from many other congregations, such as the synagogue, and even Region 10, people who have been patients at Western State are now part of our volunteer staff and are actually very good at listening to people. Food Lion, Walmart, Giant, and Blue Ridge Food Bank provide us with the basic groceries for our shoppers to choose from. However, and this is where we need the extra funding, many of the diets of the people are restricted, such as Muslims coming from Afghanistan, Syria, Iraq, which we get many of, and a lot of the Hispanics coming across the border, which we also serve. And this is the most important of all. The food ministry provides not only food to our shoppers, but an opportunity for someone to simply listen to them and listen to their concerns. We have a nurse on staff, a lawyer on staff, a podiatrist on staff, all of which are volunteers and have offered free assistance to anybody who needs it. So people are coming there not just for food, physical food, but also spiritual food, which in many cases is extremely important. And this is why our food ministry is so important, because we have volunteers. Some of these people come and sit down for an hour just for someone to listen to them. One particular example is a person from Vietnam who was there during the Vietnam War, 5 years old, escaping at the fall of Saigon. His village was bombed with Agent Orange. Just a few weeks ago, he was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer, plus cancer of other organs. The reason I mention him is because he was a regular at the food pantry, not just for food, but to sit and talk with everybody. The first person he called was myself and other people in the food pantry to listen to his health concerns. That's why the New Beginnings Food Ministry is so important in this community, because we not only serve the food that is needed for our bodies, but also the food that is needed for our spiritual health. Thank you.
I would like to add just one quick sentence, is the food bank is open to everyone. It's not restricted. People don't have to give us their name. They don't have to show an identification, and they can come every week, every Friday or every Saturday of the month, and are able to get food, no questions asked. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reverend Greg and Deacon Hazy. Rachel, will you please show us the social action slide for giving for those who would like to make a donation right now? In addition to giving online, if you would like to give today with cash or check, please use the social action collection envelopes here in the sanctuary and place your offering in the collection plate. And no need to seal the envelopes as we reuse them. In addition to our social action collection, each week we invite everyone into the spiritual practice of generosity by giving to the ministry of our congregation. Through your pledges and with the weekly Sunday morning offering, together, our financial gifts and support sustain our congregation. This is our shared ministry. During the music that follows, you may choose to make your Sunday morning offering by using the text address or going to our website. Here in the sanctuary, you are invited to share not only your financial gifts, but also share the joys and sorrows in your hearts. Those online may put them in the chat box, and those of you in the sanctuary may come forward to place a stone in the water. You may also leave us a note on the joy and sorrow paper provided on the credenza near the sanctuary doors. Let us dedicate all of the many gifts we share with one another by saying, "We accept your gifts with gratitude. May we use them wisely for the highest good."
Thank you, Scott. I invite us all to remain seated for our meditation hymn number 155, Circle Round for Freedom.
Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep this circle whole. Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole.
Well, hello, friends. It is wonderful to be back with you after a few weeks away in July. The last time I was in the pulpit, I encouraged each of us to find time to pause this summer, to rest and to reflect and to renew. And I hope you've been able to do this, and that perhaps we each can continue to find ways to care for ourselves and our souls in the remaining weeks of summer. Reverend Tim, who is here in sanctuary this morning, and I are both grateful to the worship weavers and to the pulpit guests who led worship in July. Thank you. I've shared with you before that I do some of my best thinking and musing and sermon preparation while I'm walking, which I do daily with our dogs, Maggie and Lucky. So I've been walking and thinking a lot about this month's ministry theme, the path of possibility. There is so much to explore with this theme, so it's good that we have a whole month. But first, I want to pause and acknowledge our congregation's altar team, who create our amazing altars here in the sanctuary each month. This team takes special care to honor each month's ministry theme with their thoughtful altar building. Their time and creativity is a gift that helps each of us have something meaningful to rest our eyes on and to inspire further connection with our monthly theme explorations. I encourage you to take time after the service to come up and explore the altar and to look at the photograph of each month's altar at the top of the Friday email. I'm really kind of glad it's cloudy today because you can see the amazing projection that is shown in the photo that's in the top of the Friday email, because they took that picture at night and it really shows the amazing galaxy there, but we get to see it this morning as well. And I think as we contemplate possibility, it's a spectacular image. So thank you, altar team, for for your beautiful work on all of our behalf. In addition to the image and the Friday email, our Wednesday Soulful Home emails offer a multitude of opportunities to engage with our monthly themes through readings and activities and mealtime questions to ponder and other ways for all ages to practice our UU faith at home. The path of possibility. What a wonderful theme to explore. And yet, I confess that as I've been contemplating this path rich with possibilities over the last few weeks and preparing for today's service, I've found myself bumping up against heaviness in my own heart. I think you probably know what I mean, or at least have an idea, because I know that you too have felt heaviness at times. We all have. And this heaviness is okay. There's room for it. We are a community that makes space for what is sometimes hard and uncomfortable. In our call to worship this morning, our words reminded us that we gather here inviting and encouraging each other to bring our whole selves, to bring our joy that makes our hearts sing, our kindness, our compassion, and our sorrow, pain, brokenness, and disappointments. And friends, I'm feeling a heaviness in my heart. I've carried with me a sense of unease during this summer of extreme weather across the globe, with the last month being the hottest recorded month on record for our planet. What is happening to our climate frightens me. The smoky haze from the Canadian wildfires we've seen so often in our skies this summer brings to my mind the suffering, the destruction of habitats, and just how hard it can be to breathe. I can lose my way on the path of possibility when I'm struggling with my despair over the devastation and the desperation around us near and far. We are approaching August 11th and 12th, and here in Charlottesville, this has special significance. We remember the events that took place here in 2017 and what has been dubbed the Summer of Hate. Two newly published books, one by our own Unitarian Universalist publishing house Beacon Press and the other by the Clergy Collective, offer possibilities for us to continue processing and understanding what happened in our community 6 years ago. Perhaps we should have a book discussion through Adult Faith Development this fall to explore both books as we continue to learn what we can and to heal from that time, and so that we can use the wisdom going forward. It is painful to be with the memories of these terrible nights and days when hate was on open display in our city's streets. We each have our own stories and experiences of August 11th and 12th that we carry with us and that help shape who we are today. I think about this when I hear the views and the positions of some of our current local school board candidates, and my heart feels heavy. I worry about the children in our schools who aren't allowed to learn the truth of our country's history, or who don't have access to certain library books, or who can't use the bathroom that matches their gender identity. We need inclusive schools and learning spaces. We need to protect the trans kids here in our community and in the Commonwealth, and in other places that are hostile to them, be it Florida or North Carolina or Texas or wherever. Honestly, some days I feel like our world is on fire and that there are those, often politicians, but not only them, who try and distract us from what is really important and needs our attention and resources by focusing on things that do not really matter, like who is using which bathroom. I cheered when Black lesbian comedian Wanda Sykes said, "Until a drag queen walks into a school and beats 8 kids to death with a copy of To Kill a Mockingbird, I think you are focusing on the wrong stuff." Only she used a different word than stuff. And she's right. And yes, laughter is good. It is a healing balm for us. We need to be able to laugh sometimes. And singing, alone and together, can be a balm too. The words of our opening hymn remind us that we can hold a spectrum of feelings and emotions simultaneously. Peace, like a river, strength like a mountain, pain like an arrow, love like the ocean, tears like the raindrops. It is both and. We are both and. What we strive to make space for in our congregation is the pain and the heavy-heartedness which we feel and we carry, as well as the joy. We live in scary times, a truth we all know and hold, although to different degrees and understandings based on the color of our skin, our gender expression, our economic means, our lived experiences, our earned and our unearned privilege. It's a complex mix. But here at UUCville, we want to hold space for each of our struggles, for our fear, for our pain, and for the not so pretty parts of ourselves, for our lives, as well as for our laughter and our hope and our celebrations and our dreams. Sometimes when my heart and my soul are feeling the heaviness of the fear and the sadness over issues that keep me awake at night, from the destruction of the planet to gun violence to poverty and racism and ongoing life with COVID and more, I reach deep inside and do what I call coaching myself. And coach myself is what I did as I thought about today's service and this sermon. As I acknowledged my despair, I asked myself, what's a sermon that I need to hear right now that would help? What do I need to know that can help me cope, that can help me find the strength to carry on when I feel small and tired and I'm losing hope? What do I need to remember when I'm struggling with the reality that the problems of the world are systemic and so beyond anything I can do by myself to mitigate or feel like I can make a lasting, real change? Well, for me, the answer is that I need to remember and call to my weary heart the wisdom of the ancestors. And for me today, the wisdom of the ancestors comes embodied in the words and teachings of Adrienne Rich and Mr. Rogers. You know their wise words too. Fred Rogers, a loving father figure and mentor through his beloved Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood television show, encouraged all of us in times of distress or anguish to look for the helpers. And Adrienne Rich, American poet, essayist, feminist, and lesbian, who wrote in her book, The Dream of a Common Language, a piece found in the back of our own gray hymnal, number 463. It goes, "My heart is full of all I cannot save. So much has been destroyed. I have to cast my lot with those who age after age, perversely and with no extraordinary power, reconstitute the world." So the sermon I need to hear today, and maybe you do too, is a reminder to look for the helpers, those who work to reconstitute the world every day. You're sitting next to one right now. Go ahead and look at them, the person beside you in the pew. And smile if you like. Here in our congregation's building this morning and on the Zoom screen, we are surrounded by each other, the helpers. But what I want to emphasize today is that when we're feeling down or struggling or hopeless, yes, look for the helpers, find them, and then be one. That's the part of what we're here to do for one another, to help each other find the ways to engage each in our own way and to the best of our growing abilities in helping heal our hurting world. Notice the helpers, let yourself be inspired by the helpers, and then join the helpers. Here are some of the helpers who have been inspiring me. Have you heard about the work of the beavers? Yes, really, beavers. They are being called by scientists ecosystem engineers who are fighting climate change by helping control water flow, improving water quality, and creating more habitat for other wildlife. And they're stopping wildfires. Isn't this amazing? It's been shown that wetlands created by their dams have been making it harder for wildfires to spread. And we can join these helpers in their work by spreading the word about their profound positive impact on the environment and by helping protect their habitats. You can search online or go to the library and learn more about these inspiring, helpful mammals. Another group of helpers who inspired me recently are the folks who created these great t-shirts that say, "My faith is love, #UU values, protect trans kids." These shirts were available at our Unitarian Universalist General Assembly in June, where I purchased mine, and on the Saturday of General Assembly, everyone who purchased them wore them. It was beautiful to see this expression of solidarity, as there were "My Faith is Love" t-shirts on hundreds of people everywhere. It helped our trans siblings feel seen and valued and supported. And all the proceeds of these shirt sales go directly to support Florida families with trans family members who are under attack, some even needing to move out of state to keep themselves safe. So the shirts are still available if you'd like to get one to show your support. Another inspiring person helping us all live our faith is the new president of our Unitarian Universalist Association, Reverend Dr. Sophia Bentencourt, elected in June. As president of the association, she is responsible for administering staff and programs at our UUA and is the principal spokesperson and the minister at large for our Association of Congregations. She has served as a parish minister, a seminary professor, a scholar and environmental ethicist, a public theologian, and identifies as a queer, multiracial, Afro-Latin first-generation daughter of immigrants from Chile and Panama. She most recently served as a resident scholar and special advisor on justice and equity at the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. I am inspired by the promise, the potential, and the possibilities she brings to her presidency. And I hope that UU congregations across our nation will leverage this moment to work together. And there is so much happening here in our own congregation, so many helpers that inspire me as I watch people working for the common good. I see it in our CareNet, when meals are delivered congregant to congregant in times of need, such as after surgery or other stressful times. I see our young people and their advisors working hard through the Appalachian Service Project to put our faith in action by making homes in disrepair livable. We had 28 youth and advisors from UUCville working for a week in Southwest Virginia last month. Such an inspiration to us all. And I'm heartened by the number of people in our congregation expressing interest in working on environmental concerns. Reverend Tim is meeting with this group and working towards next steps. I am grateful for all these helpers in our midst and the number of people in our congregation who are doing things that make a difference, that matter, that show that we are living our you values. You inspire me. It is seeing you in action and hearing your stories that keeps me going when I am feeling heavy-hearted and overwhelmed. It is what Adrienne Rich said, I cast my lot with you as we work daily to reconstitute the world. So today, I lift up our congregant, Kelsey Cowger, and her neighbors and say thank you for speaking out and organizing against hate speech and LGBTQ discrimination in the leadership of the Homeowners Association at Lake Monticello. And I say thank you to congregant Linda Dukes for serving as a reading tutor and forging a relationship with a local student, all on her own, for the last 5 years. Linda saw a need, and she stepped in to be of service and has changed a life. I say thank you to Reverend Tim.
Yes, thank you, Linda.
I say thank you to Reverend Tim for sharing with me his commitment to limit his consumption of single-use plastic as part of living his values. And he has a really cool water bottle. If you ask him, he'll show you. And I know there are so many more stories in the room and in the Zoom room of how we each live every day and are striving to live our faith and our values, how we each are helping and reconstituting the world. And I hope, I pray, I ask you to share your stories with each other and use this sharing to bolster each of us when we're feeling pain like an arrow or have tears like the raindrops. And if you're sitting here and you're wondering, what else can I do to be a helper? Here are just a few ideas from me. Come to our congregation's service fair on Sunday, September 10th, immediately following worship. There will be information on a variety of ways that you can get involved in our congregation, working for the common good, both within and outside of our walls. Vote. Always use the power of the ballot box and your right to vote, and work to help make it possible for others to exercise this right. It matters. It matters on the local level. It matters on the state level. It matters. Think. Think with intention about the choices that you make every day and how they are or are not aligned with your values. Do they help you live your UU faith? What changes might you need to make so that you can feel good about how you are living? Come to church and bring your children to church and religious education programming if you have children. Simply put, we are better together because it is when we gather that we can offer each other support and encouragement and invitations for deeper sharing and relationship building. We can lovingly and respectfully challenge each other's thoughts or opinions when needed, and we can learn and teach and show each other new ways of being. We can circle round for freedom and peace and know that our liberation is linked. As Emma Lazarus, a Jewish American writer, is attributed with saying in 1883, none of us is free until all of us are free. So the sermon I needed to hear today was to remember the wisdom of the ancestors, to look for the helpers, to be a helper, and to know that we have cast our lot together to reconstitute the world for the children of our children and to keep the circle whole. May our efforts be blessed, and may we be inspired and our souls fed by each other's company as we go forward in our continuing work to heal ourselves and our world. Amen, and blessed be. I invite you now to rise in body or spirit for our final hymn, We Shall Be Known. The words will be projected.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive in this great turning. We shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive in this great turning. We shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love.
As Tori comes forward now to extinguish our chalice, I offer these words of benediction. My heart is full of all I cannot save. So much has been destroyed, I have to cast my lot with those who age after age, perversely, with no extraordinary power, reconstitute the world. Friends, let us go forth together, hand in hand, arm in arm, heart in heart, and let us be helpers together. Go in peace and with love.